Okay, this week going to get into spill cards. These are handy dandy cards that you can pick up that lets you be able to use cards instead of flipping through the books. So, like for instance, they're little cards like this that give you casting time, the range, duration, components, and it gives like a description of it. So it goes all the way from like these level 0, and of course all the way up to level 9. And so this is level 3 fireball spell that they have, like the pretty much most famous wizard spell. Typically, like they say, the wizard says, "I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast fireball." And of course, a level 1 spell, Featherfall, and of course on the back they also have like the actual level. So it looks like kind of like a playing cards type of deal. And you also do have some blank ones, so you can actually write new ones in. So you could, in a sense, write different types of spells and everything. So this one, you can see, is blank, and it has something you could write for like the warlock type of deal. So obviously, these two are the biggest two all the spell spell card books that you can get, because especially you can see here with this, it's you end up with a lot of arcane spells. So you can see the stacks you get for just the arcane spells alone are pretty big, because they go from all the way from level 0 for the cantrips to 1 all the way up to level 9, because the wizards are pretty much the biggest spellcasters there are. So clerics also get a pretty decent amount of spells too, because they're usually the primary casters for healing. So they have a pretty good selection too. So what's great about these cards is you can sit here and you can actually pick out which ones you need and everything. And so that way you're the great thing about these is that you're not actually flipping through the book trying to look for spells and everything. So you just have these quick handy dandy cards. So in a sense, playing cards. So you can just sit here and line them up and be like, okay, well, which spell do I want to cast? Okay, well, I got this cantrip of Ray of Frost, so I'll cast that type of deal. So what's great about these is that they actually give you something easy for reference. So like I said, you're not flipping through the book all the time. So these are for the big two for the cleric and the wizards. But of course, you also got books for the paladin. So and of course it also comes with each one of these comes with a nice little artwork on the front and everything. So you can kind of kind of tell which is which through just the artwork itself. So that pretty much every class has their own set of spells. So here we got the druid. They got their own spell cards. So and of course on the back it also gives on each of them gives a small description of what you can look for the actual spells. So these ones are pretty much go for every class. And of course there's also ranger, because they do get spells in later levels. And so of course here's the one for the bard, because the bard is an arcane spellcaster. So like the paladin and the ranger, they do get spells later in life. And so they not only do spells and everything, but they also do martial powers and stuff for the actual fighting classes. So that you have a reference to the actual skills that the martial classes use. So the same kind of concept and everything. So that way you have a quick references to the abilities that each one can use. So like I said, instead of flipping through a book trying to find abilities or whatever. So like for instance, like the ability distract and strike for the fighter, you have like a quick reference to be able to like quickly look it up, so that way, like I said, you're not just sitting there flipping through the book and like, okay, well, I got this ability, let me double check to see what it does. You have these fancy dancy cards that are easy to use, that you can just like flip out and be able to reference very quickly. So these ones will be great addition to the game, so that way, like when you're around the table, like I said, you have quick reference and you're not flipping through the book, to be like to be able to have the game flow move quicker, and then like you're not wasting time like okay, well, everyone's flipping through books trying to find rules or whatever. You have like everything that's quick and handy and dandy. So like and there's of course there's also cards that you can get for monsters that like for DMs, which would be great. So like good old reference cards for DMs. So instead of like again flipping through like the monster manual or having to sit there and write stuff down, what you can do is use these cards as quick reference to be able to like run combat scenarios that much quicker. So like for instance, like if you're in a swamp area and you're fighting troglodytes, you can just pull out this nice handy dandy card, and what it does is it gives you like a brief description on like their abilities. They give the modifiers, so that way you have quick reference to the modifiers, plus like their skills, and languages, senses, like the actions they can do. So like as a DM, you can have like pull out these cards for like a quick combat instead of having to either use time ahead of to sit there and write stuff down, or like maybe have to flip through, like I said, the monster manual. So this one pretty much has like just about like any type of monster you can probably think of. So it pretty much runs the range of all of them. So like pretty much like that. These are just some examples: the half ogre, the ogre, smoke mephit, and the manticore. So these are just examples of like the monsters you can fight, and of course like it does is gives you sit there and gives you the actual challenge rating. So like that way it makes it easier for reference. So like if you're running like a low level to begin with, you can pull out like this one, and like it would be great also for like pretty much like random encounters and like the wilderness or whatever. So like you're traveling from town to the dungeon, you can also use these as like a quick reference for random encounters. Like you get ambushed by orcs or something, you can pull out the cards as well to be able to do a quick reference for like make combat that much easier. So like I said, as a DM, you actually have like reference cards. So like these ones for the 0 to 5 are actually like slightly bigger than like your actual other ones, because you can see like the difference. And of course, like got like a nice picture of the fire elemental with that one. So these ones like are great for DMs for like a quick reference and to be able to run combat much easier. So that way you're not, like I said, like flipping through the book trying to find like which encounter to do. So like you can also have like the Drider to be able to like if you're doing subterranean in the Underdark, and of course like you got all these different types of like creatures, like the golems and different types of golems that you can use. And like I said, like it actually has like the references on them. So like as a DM, it makes your job that much easier to be able to look up like, okay, well, these are their stats, and like I can movement, the AC, hit points, and like and also it gives like the experience on the bottom. It gives like a challenge rate and like experience. Like, okay, so like if they face the stone golem and they win, okay, I have a quick reference to be able to do this instead. Like I said, instead of sitting there have to either print stuff off or write everything out beforehand, and make these cards make the job as a DM that much easier for like monster cards. And so, and of course, to end this off real quick, like just to give like a get back to the cards and everything. So like, this also makes the job for the characters that much easier. So these are great. Like if like I'll reiterate again, these are great to be able to use as like quick reference. So you're like not wasting time in game flipping through books. You all have your own like own cards to be able to use. So and all of course like it depends on which class you're doing. So like if you're running a cleric or a wizard, these would be great. So like they're class specific, so like it would be easier to be able to pick up like the for any particular class that you're using. So that way like you can be able to quick reference stuff and everything. And of course like source book of Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and this also has like a bunch of different cards on like stuff that you can pick up through different like abilities and stuff. Like again for like a quick reference, like it gives like a quick reference of like Xanathar spells for each different type of class. It gives like it shows you like a symbol that you can follow for each class. So like for instance, like a quick control flame spell, like you can see the actual like references like the down here. You can see like you can just match them up. So like the symbols, so you can see who can use what type of deal. So that's just another set of like cards that you can pick up to be able to reference stuff. So this is like a Xanathar's Guide to Everything, like a quick like reference cards to like to be able to supplement the book or to just quickly use as reference cards. So just pretty much going over the cards quick this week and everything. So like just something else that you can pick up to enhance your games. And like I've said before, like it'll be able to streamline the game and be able to, instead of like having to pick up books and flip through them, you can sit there and actually like just pull out the cards and just like quickly reference them and everything. So these will be great to pick up as addition to like any and all source books that you want to pick up. So like I'll say again, these ones are good to get, and like of course you don't have to get all of them. Like what you can do is like you can get them specific for your role. So like for instance, if like you're playing a specific class like the ranger here, all you would have to do is pick up those cards. Or like if you DM, you could also pick up like the cards, which would make it a lot easier for the DM to be able to just quickly like sit here out of the cards and then just pull them out and be able to quickly go through and run encounters that much quicker and everything. So these would help move the game along quicker, and you're not having to stop to flip through books and everything. So just like before, like the only thing you really need to do to play D&D would be the player's handbook, but you also as a DM, it would be a good idea to get the DM guide and the monster manual. These would actually be a good idea to get to, like I said, to be able to streamline your game and move faster, so that way you're not flipping through books and like get the class specific, or a DM get like the monster cards to be able to run encounters that much quicker. So these definitely help by not having to, like I'll keep reiterating, you don't have to sit there and flip through books while in game and wasting time. Like you can actually just like pull out the cards and be able to run things a lot faster and get much more game time in.